All right, we're live. Hey, everybody. It's the Android Headline Show. Tonight is Thursday. I guess it's April 9th. Yeah, that's right. I think this is episode 103. I'm a little behind here or something like that. My name is Nick, and I'm joined by Alex tonight. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. So tonight we're going to be talking all about the Apple Watch, right? Nah, just kidding. We'll talk a little bit about the Apple Watch, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But we definitely got all
Yeah.
kinds of HTC and Sony news for you. Got our Galaxy S6 giveaway and a little interesting bend test on the S6. Obviously, some Android Wear stuff since the Apple Watch is launched this week. Google couldn't let them have all the limelight. And then Alex is going to talk a little bit about Nexus 9 kind of thing. So we'll go ahead and get started with our stories today. So first thing we got here is Galaxy S6. Square Trade did a little bend test on the S6 Edge. If you recall, I don't know, a couple months ago when the iPhone 6 Plus launched, we had the whole bend gate thing where a couple of these things were getting bent in people's back pockets. And that's basically because they're starting to get these things super thin. You can only make them so strong when they're this thin. So once you start getting that surface area, you put a little pressure on them, and, well, they bend. And most of the time, they don't really survive a bend very well. So Square Trade, as a warranty kind of program, likes to put all these phones to the test to see which ones are going to be more likely to actually break when they bend. So they have this crazy little machine, which, I don't know, I would question how normal the circumstances are that this machine would be bending things on. But either way, it at least is a uniform test for all these different phones. So they put the HTC One M9 on there, the Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge, the iPhone 6, 6 Plus, basically all the new stuff on there, and they see how many pounds per square inch it takes to bend these things. The Galaxy S6 Edge, I believe, did not do all that well. Again, I don't know how realistic these sort of things are. I guess at the end of the day, just make sure you don't sit on these things. This is like a $700 phone. You don't want to do that. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know why people put their phones in their back pocket anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if it's like a little teeny thing, okay, cool. Like a little 4-inch phone or something would probably be all right. But once you get past 5, I mean, it's a
or
bad
or
idea.
or if it's the G Flex 2.
Yes, well, if your phone is meant to bend, then there's a nice advantage for you, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you want to talk a little bit about the giveaway?
Yeah, we still have our Slick Wraps giveaway for the Galaxy S6 right now. It's on the site. If you just go to the homepage on the right side, about halfway down, there's a big banner for the giveaway. You just click on that and go in and enter into the giveaway. It ends in about 21 days, about 3 weeks from tonight. So you still got time.
Yes, and remember, if you win, don't bend it.
Yeah. Well, it's the S6, not the Edge, so it'll do better anyways.
Well, yeah, I would say still. Yeah, the Edge has that extra side of a screen that will
Yep.
crack a little bit worse, but, still. It's a pretty darn thin phone. We'll move off of Samsung and onto HTC's craziness. More or less, it seems like HTC is moving back to 2011 style of releases, where they're just going to flood the market with all kinds of craziness. So with the HTC One M7, they had started a thing where they're basically only going to do 1, maybe 2 flagships a year. They don't want a whole lot of models out there. They want to try to keep manufacturing costs low, that sort of thing. That ended up not working out all that well for them. Put all your eggs in one basket kind of thing. Just was not a great plan, I guess. So now they're going back the other way. This new CEO, I guess, decided to do this sort of thing, would be my assumption. So the HTC E9 Plus is going to be the first one we'll talk about tonight. This is a phablet, so it's a 5.5-inch screen. This one is quad HD resolution, so you got your full 4x 720p goodness in there, which the S6 and a bunch of other flagship phones now have. 3 gigs of RAM, 16 gig internal. It has micro SD card support, so that's a big plus on, I think, all of HTC's stuff right now. What's really interesting on this one is they are going for a MediaTek 6795M, which is one of the top-end octa-core MediaTeks. So instead of the Snapdragon 810 that's in the One M9, trying to keep my numbers straight here, that tends to get a little hot, run a little slow because of it. The MediaTek processors are not plagued by that sort of thing. I have not seen benchmarks on this particular chipset, but just using the MediaTek ones that I have and all these Chinese phones that I review, I really like MediaTek right now. They are absolutely kicking butt. So,
Yeah, they
right,
have some cool features that they're working on too. The autofocus, the instant autofocus, that thing
yeah,
is so bloody fast. They had a demo at World Congress with it, and it was just amazing how quick it was.
yeah. And even let's see, the one I'm reviewing right now, it's a $150 phone, and performance-wise, it performs as fast as like the Galaxy S5 or whatever. It's
Well,
just
that's
they
because that
are
touchless. Is.
well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like they're all in the same ballpark. Whatever. It's just barely under that. It's only a 720p screen, but whatever. Still, the point is, MediaTek is doing really, really well for this stuff, and I'm excited to see how this does in this phone. This one features the same 20 megapixel camera as the One M9, whereas their next phone, the M9 Plus, is a 5.2-inch Quad HD, so it's a slightly larger display than the One M9, and it's the Quad HD. 3 gigs of RAM. This one also has a MediaTek chip in it. I believe this one's a step up. It's the 6795T instead of the M. So probably like 200 megahertz boost or something like that. It's usually the difference between a lot of these things.
Yeah.
This one, however, features a couple of other different things as well. It's got the 20 megapixel with a duo camera. So people who have used the One M8 and that duo camera setup will know how this works. So basically, you're going to get the 20 megapixel with all the extra little depth options. So coloring the background, defocusing the background easier, just different kinds of depth information. It has an ultra pixel camera up front as well. So if you like the ultra pixel camera, then I guess you could always flip it around instead of using the back one if you like the pictures that comes out with better. Technically meant for nice selfies, but whatever, use the phone like you want to. The other interesting thing here is that it has a physical home button. So they've, I guess, sort of pulled a Samsung here and stuck a fingerprint scanner in it. Do you know, I forgot to look this up, do you know if it's the swipe kind, or is it like the S6 has and it's just a press?
I'd assume it's the press because I think it still has that black bar between
Yeah.
the home button and the screen.
Yeah,
And
it
I
does.
can only imagine how bad that would work if if you have to swipe, from the home button up to the screen.
Yep.
I
So,
don't see anything in the post about it. We may not even know yet.
yeah, what I thought was really interesting about that configuration is there's no obvious other buttons. So you have your physical home button, but
Yep.
where are your back and menu buttons going to go? Are they going to have a soft key in there, or what the heck are they going to do?
You just double tap the home button
It's weird.
like you used to do on Samsung to get the recents.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Triple tap for back.
triple tap for back. Maybe a long press for back. Who knows? Mizu does the crazy swipe up for back, so I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see. I
Amazon
think
does that too.
there's
Amazon
definitely
on the
What's that?
Fire phone, you have to swipe up on the right side to go back, and I think you swipe down on like the left side to go forward, like in the browser. So
Interesting. Yeah, so I think there's still a bit of unknowns about these two models. They're really interesting because they're basically alternate versions of the One M9. They both have bigger screens, though. I guess that's the one thing to take away from that.
Yeah,
And
they're
obviously
both
they both use
sticking
MediaTek.
to they're both sticking to Asia too. So I'm thinking it's the butterfly line merging with the one line, but you're still getting three
Yes.
devices.
Yep.
Because
So,
they said neither one is coming to the U.S. So
yeah.
that,
I mean, not to get off track, but I think I'd rather have seen the MediaTek in all of them. But whatever. What are you gonna do?
if you compare the M9 to the G Flex 2, HTC did a good job with the 810.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not perfect, but they did a good job compared to what LG did. But they probably had more time too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Considering it just came out now and G Flex was announced back in January. So
Yep. Yeah. That extra 2 months. Speaking of the 810, looks like the Xperia Z4 will also feature the 810, which I don't really think is any kind of surprise. What's going to be interesting is this one's supposed to be super, super thin compared to the other Xperias. So I know we saw a lot of questions about how they're going to do the heat dissipation. Yeah,
And the
there you go.
Z3 is already super thin.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
give me thinner bezels and I'm happy.
yeah, exactly. I don't know why we keep having to go for like this paper thin device thing. It's almost uncomfortable at this point to hold some of these
The
things. But
I think the Droid Turbo is the most comfortable at that thickness, and I think it's like 10, 11 millimeters thick.
yeah, yeah, it depends on how they do it. But I definitely, I don't know. I'd have to have a phone that thin for a long time to really form a solid opinion. But at least what I've
Yeah.
seen, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. The other thing we saw that we weren't sure about before was whether or not it would be water and dust, I guess, resistant as the other Xperia Z line is, because they were going for a new body style. This newest spec leak is saying that yes, it is in fact IP68 still.
Yeah,
So they're not going to get rid of that, which is good.
and also with it being water resistant, like we saw in the M4, there's a Xperia M4 Aqua and the Z4 tablet back at MWC.
Yep.
No more flaps, and I love that because I hate having to open this flap every night to charge my phone. Just
Yeah,
at
the
least
flap is
give me
irritating.
at least give me a wireless charging, you know, so I can just put it down on the wireless charger and not have to open the flap every day.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the connector to the dock here, but I don't want to buy a dock for it. You know?
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know. At this point, it's like, give me wireless charging, make that headset port waterproof, because I'm pretty sure they can do that. I don't
It
think that
already
has
is.
to be an active port, right?
It already is.
Yeah, okay, then we don't need flaps. Just get rid of that crap.
It's just the charger that has the flap. They're going to keep it for the SIM card slot, obviously, and the SD card slot, obviously, again.
But you never
They
take
can't
those
really,
off.
they can't really make those waterproof because you can't have a waterproof SIM card.
Correct. Yeah, or the SD card. Good way to fry it. So, of course, launch with Lollipop whenever it does decide to launch, and it looks like they're going to have a 3400 milliamp hour battery in there, which is pretty massive. And
This has
pretty
a
insane.
31. This has a 31 at 5.2 inches, I think it is.
Yeah.
And battery life, I mean, I'm so used to it. It made the One M9 look pretty bad.
Yeah, so this is going to have an even bigger battery, so crazier battery life, and somehow it's thinner. I don't know. I mean, it's amazing how they keep doing this.
I wonder
all
if
the
they're
time.
using LG's batteries because you know LG does like that the step with the battery so that you can get as much into like the corners as possible instead of like leaving part of the corner open just with nothing there. They started doing that with the G2, and I know some other companies have bought those batteries from them. That's probably how they're cramming all of it in there because take up as much space in there as possible and you don't make it any thicker. You're muted, Nick.
I guess I am muted. Whoops.
Yeah.
Very nice. Amateur hour. Anyway, so camera samples. Yes, that's the next thing we're talking about with the Z4. These are supposedly from the Z4. They were taken somewhere in the UK. Some secret underground bunker deep in the mountains of Scotland or something. Who knows? Basically, I thought these looked terrible. I really hope they're not from the Z4. I know I've seen mixed opinions on them, but especially that post-processing, I was not real happy with in broad daylight.
It's supposed to be the same camera as the Z3, Z2, Z1.
It doesn't
Pretty
look
much
like it to
anything.
me.
Pretty much anything from the Z1 and up. According to the
Yeah.
benchmarks, it's the exact same one. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that person just doesn't know how to take pictures, or maybe they had it on the lower setting. Because you can't put it down to I think like 3 megapixels. So
Yeah, it could have been something weird. I'm really hoping so because they were not great looking. And again, Sony's supposed to be the leader here in image quality for this stuff. They're the ones that make all these amazing sensors, and this
they
is
make
supposed to
all
be
the
the IMX
sensors.
230.
They
Yeah,
make
this is
all the
supposed to be the brand
sensors
new one.
except for the M9 sensor. That one is Toshiba.
Yeah.
Which is why it's not that good.
Yep. Well, is what it is, right? As far as the Apple Watch stuff goes this week, of course, all the embargoes for the reviews ended for that. So when those were all coming out, Google was like, "Hey, let's not let them all steal the light. We'll talk a little bit about Android Wear and make sure people know about this stuff." So I remember seeing one of the big annoyances people have with the Apple Watch is the fact that you only get whatever Apple gives you in terms of watch faces. There's no way right now to buy or add any kind of new watch faces to the OS. And I'm sure they'll change that later. Google didn't even have an SDK for a couple of months, even though
Well,
people still made watch faces.
if you look at when the iPhone first launched, there was no App Store either. You could only
Correct.
do, I think, web apps.
Yep.
And that changed on the second iPhone. So it's a first generation product.
Yeah. But point being is Google was like, hey, check it out. We have over 1,000 watch faces for Android Wear. So eat it, Apple.
Yeah.
So,
But I wonder how many are from each developer, because I know some, they make like 20, 30, 100 watch faces.
yeah. It doesn't matter. It's
And
still,
some of them are listed like twice. They'll have like, a watch face that's in like 5 colors and list them 5, each color once. But then they'll have like the whole pack available as well. So there's like 6
yes.
listings for the same watch face.
Yeah.
I hope it's
I know.
actually 1,000 different ones.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's what they said. It was 1,000 different ones. So I don't know. We'll see. And I'm sure that doesn't even include Facer and Watchmaker and all those other ones that
Well,
aren't
those
even
are watch
on the Play
faces.
Store. Yeah, but I don't know if they count those as just one because, as you know with those, they'll have a whole marketplace in and of themselves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's an absolute boatload. I think my hobby of buying live wallpapers has transferred into buying watch faces now. I have quite a few now. It's very nice. And then, of course, they talked about straps, too. So they showed off a whole bunch of different straps, gave you a couple of links of places you can get straps. It's just any standard 22 millimeter strap. So go to your favorite department store and buy one if you want. I mean, they pretty much all work.
They're on Amazon too.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. That's where I buy all mine anyway. It's the easiest way.
Yeah, Motorola worked with, I think it was Dodo Case, and got a bunch of nice leather ones. But man, those things are like $60.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, they can
blue
be some
leather
pretty
looks
expensive
nice though.
ones.
The blue and the
Absolutely.
red leather looks really nice, especially if you have like the black Moto 360.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely depends on what kind of watch you have as to which of these bands are going to look good. Because I know I've bought a few and they don't look good on one or the other. There's also supposed to be a big Android Wear update soon for 5.1 Lollipop, which is supposed to have Wi-Fi and different kinds of gestures and that sort of thing. We don't have a whole lot of details on that yet, but it's supposedly in the next couple of days, I believe, is the rumored release. So we'll see about that. Hopefully we'll be talking about that in depth next week if Google releases it. That'd be really cool. You have your Nexus 9 thing. You want to start with that?
Well, it's actually Tom's, but basically this week we're starting a new feature here. We're calling it Living With blah blah device, just like we did the Google Nexus 9. So Tom, our editor-in-chief, he's been using the Nexus 9 pretty much since it's been available over in the UK. He pre-ordered it. So he just did like, a short, I don't know, not like a formal review like I do for like the M9 or the G Flix 2 just recently. But, his experience with it over the last, about 5-6 months now.
Yeah, that's about right.
So basically, he just went over, he had the G-Pad 8.3 before the Nexus 9. He wanted something a little bit bigger, but not, Tab S 10.5 large. And, the only other thing that was left was really the Xperia Z3 tablet compact, which is 8.3 inches as well. And then in came the Nexus 9. So that's what he picked up. And, he really likes the tablet. It's been working out great for him. So you can check that out on the site as well. We also have the top 10 smartphones for April. And as soon as it decides to load up, I can talk about it.
Yeah, I know we had the 5.1 update go out for the Nexus 9 this week too, right?
No. Not that I know of.
I thought those were not OTAs, but I think those are posted on AOSP.
I don't remember seeing it. I remember the Nexus 7 2012
Yeah, the 7
HTC
was.
going out.
I
But
don't know, too
Nexus
many
9,
Nexi.
I don't think the Nexus 9 has it yet. But for the top 10 smartphones for April, we have OnePlus One at number 10, Xperia Z3, and then the Moto X 2014, followed by the LG G Flex 2, and then the Droid Turbo, which is also the Moto Max, Moto Turbo as well in other countries outside the US. Next up is the LG G3, and then the One M9 is at number 4. Interesting, since it just came out. And then we have the Nexus 6 at number 3, and Galaxy Note 4 at 2. And then the Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge are sitting at number 1.
I like it. Do you want to cover any other ones?
Nah, the other one's going to wait till next week.
That works for me. Very good. So, I think unless you wanted to go over that Chromebook, I don't know if you had any time for that or not.
It's already ready to be shipped back. But yeah, the Chromebook 15, it's I was talking with Tom about it earlier this week. He says it looks cheap, and he liked the C720's design better, and it's really just the same thing, just blown up. Because it's 11.6 inch versus a 15.6 inch Chromebook.
Yeah.
But man, that thing it's a beast. It looks like a really small keyboard on there though, but it has speakers on either side of the keyboard. 1080p display. Our model had 4 gigs of RAM. It wasn't the Intel Core i5 model. It was the little older one that came out at CES. But everything we threw at it, it took and kept on going. I think they say 7 hours of battery. I usually got like 8 or 9, which is typical with Chromebooks for me. I usually get more than what they say. So there's that. The review, I'm not sure if it's gone out yet, but if it hasn't, it should be going out this weekend. Nope, it hasn't gone out yet. So it should be going out this weekend. So
Nice.
Make sure you look for that. And I'll have a Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge tomorrow, so we have something for next week.
Sweet. That'll be excellent to go over next week. I'm particularly looking forward to seeing how their themes compare to HTC's on the One M9.
Dude, HTCs are so awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
It's so simple to do. You can still theme it the way you do on any other phone. Icon packs of your own launcher.
Yeah.
But just to be able to do it with their own launcher, do it through their theme app without having to download any more apps. It's amazing.
Having system-wide themes is one of those things that I know Chinese phones have done really well for a long time, and it's really nice to finally see it come over into mainstream phones in the U.S.
The one thing I really like is the fact that you can just pick a wallpaper and then go into the theme app, and it'll generate a theme from that wallpaper. You don't have to do anything. I mean, you can edit it afterwards and change what you want from it, but for the most part, it's pretty much automatic.
Nice. Yes, this will be very good to see. Plenty of different things to take a look at, and I definitely would agree that that's probably the best thing to buy this April. The S6. So, I guess unless you got anything else, that'll about do it for us, right?
That should be about it.
Very good. So everybody out there, of course, subscribe to us on all the things. That's what we'd like to see you do. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram as Android Headline without the S, Google+, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course YouTube as regular Android Headlines. We've got plenty of other content for you on YouTube, reviews, unboxings, all kinds of good stuff. So hope you had a great time. See you all next week.
See you everybody next week.